Welcome to Spiritual Ambition, where we tune in to awaken our divine nature and explore the provocative inner force compelling us toward our fullest potential. If you've achieved external success but feel a deeper calling, if you're tired of dimming your light to fit in, and you know there's a more powerful way to live and lead and love, you're in the right place. Host Donna is a best-selling author, modern-day high priestess, and catalyst for personal transformation. Together, we're birthing a new paradigm of loving leadership, integrating our humanity with divine wisdom as our individual awakening serves collective evolution. Here's your host of Spiritual Ambition, Donna Bond.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome back. Welcome to Spiritual Ambition. Today, we have the Sacred Reset, and I'm going to share about how meditation has saved my life, which it really, truly did. You know, we have left the year of the snake. It's finally done. All of the shedding, it's over. And we have launched ourselves into the year of the horse, the year of the fire horse. And horse is all about power and forward motion and strength and that raw animalistic nature. And if we run that horse into the ground, we're going to suffer the consequences from it. So today, we're going to talk about taming that horse. And this brings me to something that I read in The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, where he talked about taming our mind in meditation is similar to taming a horse. And that always struck me and always stuck with me because I can remember in those early days of meditation how difficult it was and how our mind is that bucking horse, you know, kicking its legs up, demanding that it gets to do what it wants to do, which for us in our modern world means making a cup of coffee and checking our phone and tuning into the news and what's going on in the world. And then we launch right into our day and we forget about ourselves and our essence and our nature. And we forget that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And we treat ourselves like machines, like a horse that is doing hard labor. So today we're going to unwind from that a little bit. And this is one of my favorite topics. Welcome in, everyone. Evelyn, thank you for being here. Rose, hello. Carol, come on in. Labyrinthania, I can never even say it. You know, every episode, I can never say it. But thank you so much for showing up and being here in any event. All right, we're going to talk about the sacred reset and how meditation saved my life. We're going to open our show today with a little attunement. So wherever you are, unless you're operating heavy machinery or driving a car, go ahead and close your eyes. And let's just tune in for a moment to our hearts, taking a nice deep breath. And you know, I'm just called to say, Father, Mother, God, infinite God of all creation, we call ourselves forward into your loving. We ask to be cleared, filled, surrounded, and protected with the clear white light of living love. We ask that any karma, negativity, or imbalance, any friction, stuck energy, contraction, any physical pain, any neck pain, migraine pain, any energy or vibrational frequency that is vibrating at anything less than the frequency of divine loving that may be residing anywhere in our consciousness, mentally, physically, emotionally, subconsciously, or energetically. We ask that anything with a resonant frequency less than divine loving be lifted and transmuted just now. taken to the highest realms of light and sound and dispersed, transmuted back into the nothingness. Into this space, we tune in to the field of consciousness, the field of coherence, the field of loving, the field of peace, the field of oneness. We acknowledge and we welcome only those divine beings of light who love each one of us unconditionally, who work for the divine plan and who work for the light, keeping in mind each of our unique destinies. We ask for your help, your support, your assistance in bringing forward healing, revelation, and wisdom of the heart that will resonate most profoundly with each individual here for their highest good, and anyone listening to the replay for their highest good and the highest good of all concerned. We are grateful and we say thank you. So be it. Welcome, Natasha. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Frankie, hello. All right. Well, before I launch into meditation, I support a lot of amazing, top-performing women who are experts in their fields and masters of their environment, their work. And so many of them, when I invite the idea of meditation, they're like, I don't have time for that. They don't want to talk about that. And I always feel like I'm on a soapbox about it. And so I've written a lot of articles about it, and I send a lot of tools and teachings and practices to my clients. And many of my clients will tell you the life-changing experiences that they have begun to have as a result of really committing and dedicating themselves to a meditation practice. And so today we're going to talk in depth about what does this mean? How do we get started with a meditation practice? Why do we even want one? What are the actual benefits of it? Because there are benefits on all levels of our consciousness. And I went down a little rabbit hole with some AI today, looking at the mental, the emotional, the physical, and the spiritual. And there's like lists and lists and lists, which is awesome. And so I'm going to share a little bit about that. I want to call in the light. One of the things that we do here in this community is our sacred circle of light. And the energies have been wild. They have been really intense. A couple of weeks ago, we were in the energy of Gene Key 30, which is the shadow of desire and the gift of lightness and the divine gift of rapture. But that city of desire, the city or the shadow of desire, the shadow of desire can really pigeonhole us into getting our own way and like having to have our own way. And so there's a lot of this combative, punchy, rough energy that is in the field. And then we left that and moved right into what's happening to my video? Interesting. Anyways, the energies have been really intense. Not to mention, we see all of the pain and the strife and the anguish of the things that are being revealed in the news today with spiritual leaders that have been identified in some not so nice circles, right? And so everyone is sort of processing these really difficult things and really difficult emotions that are moving through each one of us as we are confronted and confronting ourselves with what's happening and what this means. So we're going to take a moment and just send the light out and around the globe to anyone who might need it. If you have somebody that you would like to drop their name in the chat, and we can just hold the intention together to send love and light to those individuals. I'm going to put Betty and Bob into the mix here. I'm going to put Celia and Don into the mix here. Who else? Amy, hello, welcome. Jane, we're going to include you in our sacred light circle today. Hi, Ben, welcome in. I'm not giving any messages from loved ones today, but we can send a message to a loved one if you have one. Evelyn, welcome. All right, so we're just going to take a moment and we're going to send that light around the globe, knowing that our intentions for upliftment, for grace, for loving, for tenderness, for support, for allowing, for comfort, for gentleness, to be received by anyone who needs them, by anyone who needs grace. Thank you. We include Carol, Evelyn, Maisie. Thank you. All right. Well, as I was saying when we started, we're in the year of the fire horse, and things are not going to slow down. Look, it's already going to be March. Like in a second, it's going to be March. February has disappeared before us, and we are already coming into the third half of the first quarter of the year. It's like, whew, Shazam, it's over. It's going by so, and we have a choice. We always have a choice. We can either be a victim of the pace, we can be a victim of the energies, we can be a victim of the chaos, or we can begin to take dominion over ourselves. And there is no better antidote to chaos and to distraction and to pain and suffering than coming into a place of stillness and a place of quiet and a place of calm and a place of groundedness deep within each one of us. But the challenge is our pesky little mind. God bless it, right? Because it thinks it's in charge. It thinks that it knows better than the divine, better than this infinite intelligence that we have the ability to plug into. We have the ability to attune ourselves to this field. And so I want to share just a little bit about my own meditation journey because it's been so significant. I'm going to take you all the way back to 2013. And in 2013, I was still in corporate land, and I found myself with a frozen shoulder. And I had a frozen shoulder because I knew deep down inside of myself that I was very unhappy with what I was doing, but I was sort of prostituting myself in the sense that I was staying in a job that I knew I didn't want to be in for the money. And that is a survival archetype. Maybe we should do a whole show on the survival archetypes that were identified by Carolyn Mace. It's brilliant work. But that survival archetype of me, in me, was activated and keeping me doing something that in every fiber of my being, I didn't want to do. And so the body never lies. And I ended up developing a frozen shoulder, which was such a beautiful manifestation of what was going on inside of me, because I knew that I wanted to be doing something different, but I wasn't taking any action. I was staying stuck. And so that frozen shoulder was just such a gorgeous outward expression of what was happening to me inside of myself. Anyways, I was in so much pain. And I don't know if anybody out there has ever had this adhesive capsulitis, is what the medical terminology is, a frozen shoulder. Nancy, you're saying you can relate to this. Your body hurts so much. I'm so sorry. I know it's so tough. So the only way that I could get out of pain was to be still. And so literally, I say that the universe tricked me into meditating, because it was only through being in silence and being in stillness that I could relieve myself of this pain. So I ended up having surgery on my shoulder. And following that, I went to a program at the Chopra Center, which I've been grappling all day long with whether or not I'm like going to disclose that or not. But in full transparency, whatever's going on with Deepak, we send light to him, and this whole situation and the heartbreak that so many people are experiencing as a result of hearing and learning about what we're seeing in the media. And I look forward to hearing directly from Deepak at one point. I'm sure he will be sharing his truth. In any event, I was at the Chopra Center, and I took this program called Rest and Restore. And it was in that program that I was given a great gift. And the gift that I was given was this little jingle, I'm going to call it RPM. Rise, P, meditate. RPM. Rise, P, meditate. Well, I got a hold of that, and I just committed to that. And I committed to it in a way that yielded so many benefits in my life, because this is still my practice today. All these years later, I get up, I go to the bathroom, and I sit down in my meditation space. And, you know, this has developed inside of me a relationship of deep trust within me, because I have committed to this. And, you know, our minds want to talk us out of this so quickly. Our mind, when we first sit down to meditation, and, you know, this still happens to me today. I've been meditating every day for more than a decade now. And it still happens where I can hear that little voice say, like, I don't have time for this. I got to get back to this person, or I got to take care of that task, or I want to know what's going on my phone right now if that guy responded to me about the XYZ. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. This is such a sacred gift to yourself when you can make your communication with the divine, your communication with your own heart coherence, your mind and heart coherence coming into cooperation within yourself. This is a gift that will pay dividends on so many levels in your life, because when we begin to develop a meditation practice, so many amazing things happen. And I checked, you know, with Claude today, and I got this whole list of all of these benefits on all levels of our consciousness. But before I even share the science with you about this, I want to share a little bit about my own experience. So it was 2 years in to my meditation journey, and I had committed to this: rise, pee, meditate. And I don't even brush my teeth. I get up, I go to the bathroom, and I sit down in my meditation space. And this is the secret, because the minute you let in the outside world, forget about it. You must resist looking at your phone. As I committed to this practice, my intuition started strengthening. My psychic abilities began to come online. I started to remember my dreams in a very clear way, in a way that was a little bit like watching a movie. And I've always been like a good, strong dreamer, but this was like the volume got turned up a little bit more. Meditating is a little bit like working out. You know, if you do it for 8 hours tomorrow, nothing's going to happen. But if you do it for 8 minutes every single day, over time, you're building a muscle. You're building your own field of coherence. You know, our heart emanates this field of coherence. And I'm going to give you the science and the facts on that in a little bit. But it's like there's this palpability to the field around you. You know, it's sometimes difficult to even put words to these things as they're so abstract. But I cannot impress upon you enough how this is the antidote to the insanity of the world that we live in. And again, we can allow ourselves to be victimized by all of the chaos, by all of the turmoil, by all of the upset, or we can participate in inner leadership that says, I'm going to make this commitment to myself. And in so doing, I'm going to develop a deeper level of trust within my own system that I know I can cultivate this place of peace that I then have access to in those moments of extreme upset. I'm just seeing some of the comments. Evelyn says, true, it just starts the day off. It's so deliciously when you stick to the practice. Yes, Evelyn, it's so true. Kelly, hello, welcome in. We love abstract talk, Donna. Great, I love that. That makes it helpful for me. If you are a meditator, just let me know in the chat. Drop it in there. If you have a practice, or if you've tried to have a practice and you have been unsuccessful in the practice, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks today to stay true to that practice. And something that I share with my private coaching clients that they find very helpful and usable. So just let me know in the chat if you are a meditator or if you would like to be a meditator. Carrie Bowman, every morning. Beautiful. Shout out to you. Mwah. Much love. Thank you for being here. Kim Princess, hello to you. Welcome. Carol wants the tips. All right. I just want to tell you about a dream, and then I'm going to give you some of the tips. So I had been meditating for about 2 years, and I had a dream that I had a fish hook all the way through my left breast. And in this dream, I was looking at myself in a mirror, and I was looking back at myself, and there was this fish hook all the way through my breast. And I was fixated on the barb that had gone all the way through the flesh of my breast. Well, I wonder if I say this word enough times, they're going to censor my show. It's probably not smart. In any event, it was messy and it was bloody. And in that dream, I said out loud, how am I going to get out of this? And I woke up. And when I woke up, I suddenly remembered that about 2 months earlier, I had noticed this little pebble that felt like it was on the top of my breast. And as soon as I woke up out of this dream, my first thought was, wow, I wonder if that is still there. And so sure enough, it was. And that day, I made an appointment for an ultrasound. And that appointment led to another appointment and another appointment and another appointment. And 5 days before my 47th birthday, I was being given a breast cancer diagnosis. This is how meditation saved my life. Because I am so sure, and I know that the quality of my dream life is so strong and improved as a result of my meditation practice. Maybe I would have had that dream without a meditation practice, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say I probably wouldn't have remembered the dream with the same level of clarity that I remembered that dream. When I was given that diagnosis, the relationship that I then had with my intuition changed. It changed in a very powerful and very dramatic way that I honored my intuition going forward at a much deeper level than I ever had before. I believed my intuition in a way in which I was no longer willing to compromise the information that I was getting through my intuitive senses. And that's a whole other conversation and show that maybe I can share a little bit of content about, is how we receive different information and messages through so many different ways, through signs, through our senses, through a myriad of different ways. That was a game changer for me. And I am going to just go out on a limb here and say, if it weren't for my meditation practice, maybe I never would have had that experience. And me being able to rely on my inner sovereignty and my inner knowingness is a game changer, is what makes me me. It's what makes me trust my higher self, my soul, my inner knowing. And my breast cancer journey was a whole other story of self-love. And that's not what this show is about today. We're really going to get back to the facts of the meditations and the tips and the tricks. But I just wanted to share that to create some awareness around the dividends that can be given in your own life as a result of committing to a practice such as this. All right. So RPM. What a great place to start. Rise, P, meditate. So here's the tips and the tricks. And this is what I'm going to give you a 33-day challenge on this, because after 33 days, it takes 33 days to cultivate a new habit. And you make this commitment to yourself and you keep it, and get yourself a calendar tracking form. If you want it, email me at donna@donnabond.com and I'll send it to you. Every day for 33 days, you're going to get up, you're going to go to the bathroom, and you're going to sit down in your meditation space. And I want to talk about this. Create a space for yourself, okay? This can be on the floor, in front of a sliding glass door. That's where I would meditate in California, looking out over my backyard and my gardens. And, you know, I had all my tchotchkes with my candles and my crystals and my cards and my Course in Miracles and like all of the things that I love. You can have those or you don't have to have those. It doesn't really matter. They don't really matter. It's all about you and what do you want in your space. Maybe you want some fresh florals. Maybe you have a pet rock, or maybe your cat wants to sit with you when you're meditating. It doesn't matter. But what does matter is that you have a space. And I want to recommend that that space is not in your office. It's not near your computer. It's not in a place where you're typically in an action of activity, because energy is everywhere, as you know. And like in my office, it is actually kind of serene in here. And when people come in here, they're like, oh, wow, we can feel the nice vibration. It's so lovely because of the nature of the sacred work that I do with my clients. But there's also a lot of activity that goes on in here. And for me and my system, I want to be in nature. And living here in Costa Rica, and you can probably see outside my window behind me, I built myself a temple for my meditation practice, because that's how important it is to me and my life. And I don't miss it. I don't miss it. My husband, who I think is watching the show, can attest to the truth of that. But for the 33-day practice, what I want you to do is I want you to find a space. I actually created like a little jingle around this, which was mine. It wasn't even AI. What did I call it? Set the space, get to the space, and rest in the space. So set, get, rest. So set the space, figure out where you're going to go. Curl up on a couch with a blanket, sit your ass on a cushion, be comfortable, be warm, be in a place where you can be still and where you can be not interrupted. Okay. So that's the first thing. Figure out where this space is. Rise, P, meditate. When you begin your 33-day challenge, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to that space. Just go to it. Even if you don't get to the meditation, get up, go to the bathroom, and go sit down in that meditation space. Train your body, train your system to actually go physically sit in the space. And then once you get there, rest. Now, I am a big fan of a mantra. And the mantra that I work with is a 7-syllable mantra that doesn't get spoken out loud or doesn't get shared with anybody, because that's sort of a sacred agreement that I have between me and spirit. And this sacred mantra was given to me through the movement of spiritual inner awareness, which is a church that I belong to. But you can pick a mantra. And I like a mantra because this is a way that we can anchor ourselves. And you can use a 1-word mantra. And I don't want you to get hung up on the mantra, because the mantra doesn't really matter. The mantra is like an elevator, okay? And the elevator is going to take you down into these deeper levels of your mind that are going to quiet you. So let's say, for example, you're going to use the word love. And if you want to use a guided meditation, you can, but I think the development of you and a mantra is something that can go with you anywhere. And like, I also am just not crazy about bringing your phone into your meditation space, which is why I don't love the guided. But if you have to have a guided, you can go on to Insight Timer. Please follow me there. That would be great. You can go to insighttimer.com and you can find all kinds of great guided meditations. But let's say that your mantra is the word love. You're going to repeat this word silently to yourself, inside yourself, repeatedly. You're going to just say it over and over and over, almost in a hypnotic way. Love, 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 love. And as you start doing that, then you're going to hear that little voice. That little voice is going to be like, oh, I wonder what we're having for dinner tonight. Or, oh, I wonder what time I got to pick Johnny up from after his game. Or, oh, what am I going to say at the board meeting tomorrow? That's going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen. Or you're going to hear that voice that's going to say, we don't have time for this shit right now. Let's go. Let's get out of here. That's the moment of truth, people. That is the moment of truth right there. When that voice, that horse, that untamed horse starts kicking up its back legs, your job is to notice that. Meditation, we're not going to get to this dreamy space of nothingness where there's going to be these large gaps of time where nothing's happening. Yes, you can have bouts of that, but this is why this is called a practice, because the practice is witnessing the show. It's watching the show. It's watching the commentary. It's watching the voice that you then think to yourself, wow, she's pretty mean, or she's pretty critical, or wow, I'm really stuck in my victim today, or God, I was awful to my husband on that vacation. And then maybe emotion starts coming up. It's all okay. It's all welcomed. It's all welcomed. But our job in meditation is that once we notice that we forgot the mantra, we want to come back to the mantra. That's the practice. The whole practice is coming back to the mantra. So as soon as you notice that your attention has gone someplace else out into Never Never Land, and now you're lost in your mind, which is in charge, drop it in, drop it back, come back. Love, love, love. It's not an opportunity for judgment. This is not an opportunity for shaming yourself. This is not an opportunity for saying like, oh, I suck at meditation. No, that's why it's a practice. And we just keep repeating that mantra until you're complete. Now, do you want to set an alarm? Maybe. But then again, you got to get your phone involved, and I don't really love that. What I recommend is having a mala. And I use a mala, which has 108 beads on it. And I'm not going to give you the facts on that because I can't do it off the top of my head, but there is a reason why there are 108 beads on the mala. And I love holding the mala, and I hold the mala, I should have brought one, between my thumb and my forefinger, not your index finger, because your index finger is significant of the ego, and we don't want the ego involved in meditation. But if you hold the mala beads and you gently move from one bead to the next throughout the course of your meditation, it'll take you about 20 minutes. That's a lovely amount of time. Now, I recognize you might hear like 20 minutes and you're like, holy shit, nobody's got time for that. It's okay. Start with whatever feels comfortable for you. But the secret for the 33-day challenge is to get up, rise, pee, meditate, go to that space, wherever it is, and sit your butt down in that space. Do it for 33 days, and it will become a positive habit in your life. If you miss a day, you got to start at the beginning. You go back to day one. And this is just a commitment that you're making to yourself. And let me just tell you, you get to the end of those 33 days, you are going to feel so empowered and so amazing and so recognized within yourself that you did this sacred act of self-love for yourself. This is the antidote, people. This is the antidote for a crazy world. All right, let me give you some of the factoids right now. Mentally, meditation reduces mental chatter. It quiets the monkey mind. It tames the horse. Hello, Jennifer Rose. Welcome in. Thank you, Evelyn. Best advice I ever got was imagine your head like a room with two windows. Let the thoughts pass through like clouds and go out the window. Our mind is the sky. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. Kim, there are no quiet spots in my house. I can meditate in the bathroom. You won't be the first and you won't be the last. Yes, take a pillow in there. Shut the door. You can do it. You can do it. You know, when I first started my practice, I had two very bossy cats, and they were like, love me and pet me. And, I hear from my clients who have little kids or they have a dog that has to go out. They will figure it out. They will figure it out. When you make this the most important thing in your day, just think about the message that you're sending to yourself when you keep a commitment like this. This is no small thing. This is no small thing. So meditation is going to increase your focus, your clarity, your cognitive function. It's going to enhance your creativity and your problem-solving abilities. It's going to improve your memory and information. When I'm meditating, oftentimes something will come in that I needed to do yesterday, and then it's like, oh, thank you so much. It came floating back into my awareness. As I have built this muscle and cultivated this field, there's also this very palpable, it's almost like a texture in a way. There's this palpable field, I don't know what else to call it, that I am able to call on when I need it. Because I've developed this level of familiarity with that place in my consciousness, with this piece of peace, P-I-E-C-E, P-I-E-C-E of P-E-A-C-E, this piece of peace. And that matters because I need that throughout the day. I need that before I sit with a client to do sacred heart-opening work. I need that before I'm going to come share whatever is streaming through this vessel with all of you. Emotionally, what happens to me emotionally in my meditation is once the mind gets quiet and gets settled down with the chant of that mantra, our emotions can come up. They get freed. And what I recommend is that you allow whatever wants to happen. Just allow whatever emotion wants to be seen by you, be loved by you, be present to that expression that is moving through you. This isn't a time to try to force anything. This is a beautiful way to give your system permission to do whatever it wants to do and whatever it needs to do. And oftentimes, towards the end of my meditation, when I have reached that yummy place of peacefulness, I can feel these pockets of these more dense, heavy places of grief and shame sometimes, and even despair that wants to bubble up and bubble out. And what a beautiful way for me to hold space for myself by allowing that to come forward. So what this does is it cleanses the lens of our perception, because now we have these heavier, dense, yucky emotions that most of the time during the day through our activity, we're trying to push down and stuff down. And then that's how we clog the pipes. That's how we have the muckety muck. That's the interference in between our true nature and our authentic self-expression that wants to come out in the world. When that emotion is heavy and dense and in the way of that, then things are not clear. Things are not, we're not present. We're not radiating our loving essence. Our true nature is obscured by those heavier emotions. So if emotion wants to come forward during your practice, do it, let it, allow it. It's really a beautiful gift that you're giving to yourself, because this is then revealing your true essence and your true nature, which is love. And that's what this world needs a whole lot more of. And so as we contribute to that individually, we are emanating that love out into the collective. Physically, and this has all been proven through science. There's a book called Supermind by Norman Rosenthal. I hope that I'm getting that right. And he's got all kinds of science in here, but meditation lowers your blood pressure. You know, a lot of people who know me, who have witnessed my meditation journey, tell me that I look a lot younger today as I'm closer to 60 than I looked when I was closer to 50. And yeah, that's how old I really am. It strengthens our immune functions. It reduces cortisol, which cortisol is the stress hormone that makes us feel anxious and nervous and drives that high level of anxiety. It actually produces serotonin, which is the antidote to the cortisol. So there's all sorts of positive physiology that is happening inside of us. It decreases chronic pain. It slows cellular aging. It improves longevity, and it regulates our nervous system. It regulates our nervous system. And then spiritually, you know, it deepens the connection that we have to our higher self, to our soul. It deepens the connection that we have to the divine, to the all that is, to the oneness. It facilitates our own self-awareness, our self-realization, our self-compassion, self-loving, self-acceptance. These are all also in the emotional realm category. But meditation is what opens up higher states of consciousness. And those higher states of consciousness, as we emanate more of that collectively, we are breathing that into the collective. I want to share a little bit about a study that was done by, it's called the Maharishi effect. And it happened in 1993. And it was a study where approximately 4,000 people practiced transcendental meditation. And together in Washington, D.C., over a period of 7 to 8 weeks, they reduced crime in the area by 23.3%. I'm not making this up. You can Google it. You can check AI on it. It was called the Maharishi effect. There was a 27-member independent review board that was comprised of scientists and leading citizens, police members who were all double checking the research on this. Statistically, the probability that the statistic of 23% decline in crime had less than a 2 in 1 billion chance. The statistical probability that this was chance was less than 2 in 1 billion. Sorry, I didn't deliver that correctly. This is incredible that this happened. Think about what would happen on the planet when more people on a regular basis began to meditate together. There's so many studies about this. There's so much science and data that is the truth and the evidence of this. And, we look out into the world and we feel helpless and we feel caught in the chaos, and we ask ourselves, what can I do? What can I do to make the world a better place? How can I affect all of these terrible things that are happening all over the world? My answer to you is meditation. That as we put ourselves in the mind-heart coherence, we are then emanating our field of consciousness, our field of peace out into the cosmic soup. And we have a choice. We can either send anger and rage and strife into the cosmic soup, or we can send peace and love and acceptance. And if you're saying that that doesn't do anything and that doesn't matter, I want to encourage you to get the facts and look up the evidence. If you want to learn more about heart coherence and the science and the data and the facts that exist around that, you can visit heartmath.com. They have done all of the research on this. I want to see here on my notes. Heart coherence suggests that when people meditate together, their coherent brain waves synchronize and amplify each other, creating a much stronger field than an isolated practice. So when you become aware, and you can visit millionsmeditatingnow.com, and you can sign up for these group global meditations that you can participate in, which these initiatives are being organized around the world throughout the year to affect coherence for exactly these reasons. All right. What do I want to say next? I want to give you a gift. I have what's called my sacred reset meditation. And Kelly's going to drop the link in the chat. This sacred reset meditation is a beautiful, less than 5-minute sacred reset that was a channeled transmission that came through me. And I'm going to go ahead and drop the link also in the chat so that you can just click on the link and easily find your way to this. This is a great way to sort of set the stage for yourself, because you can listen to this less than 5-minute meditation, and it's very beautiful. Suri Sawyer is the vocals with the background music, and my son, Everest Bond, is playing the handpan. And this meditation just channeled through me. And it really is a gorgeous reset. You can use this as a way to bring yourself into alignment, to begin your morning meditation. So you can rise, pee, sit down in your meditation space, perhaps listen to this sacred reset, and then begin chanting your mantra. The 33-day challenge is on. If you make it to the 33 days, please email me at donna@donnabond.com, because I want to recognize you. I would love to make a great big deal around the fact that you did this for yourself. There is no greater gift. There's no greater gift that you can give yourself. I could do a whole nother hour about the benefits of why and how a practice like this can and will change your life. One of the other fun things that I asked Claude, who is my collaborative business partner, my AI business partner, who are like some big deal athletes that meditate or celebrities that meditate. LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, just a bunch of basketball players for you, actors and actresses, Oprah Winfrey, of course, Ellen DeGeneres, Cameron Diaz, Jerry Seinfeld. Actually, Jerry Seinfeld has been practicing transcendental meditation for many, many, many years. And if you Google that, there's a great video of him talking about his experience with TM and how it changed his life. So, there's Paul McCartney, Madonna, Lady Gaga, who uses TM to manage PTSD and chronic pain. Many, many top performers use meditation as a way to recognize that they are a multidimensional being. You are a multidimensional being. If you just allow yourself to be trapped in your mind 24/7, 365, you're missing out on so much of who you are and the true essence of what you have come here to share with the world. And a meditation practice is the cultivation. I don't know, that's the best word that I can come up with. It's the cultivation of that essence, of bringing that into your conscious awareness in a real and palpable way. So, the celebration of love's alchemy, we always do this at the end of every show I like to bring our love to the things that we wouldn't ordinarily bring our love to. And today I want to bring our love to the synchronicity of the fact that we are in this year of the horse, the year of the fire horse. And what a gorgeous opportunity to learn how to tame our mind, which is what Michael Singer talked about in The Untethered Soul, how taming our mind is like taming a wild horse. The universe has perfect timing on this, and this is strategic. This is going to be a year of tremendous energy, acceleration, chaos, and meditation is the exact antidote that we need to begin to commit to a daily ritual that is going to pay dividends in your life for years and years and years to come. You can take it anywhere you want to go. You can do it when you're stopped in traffic. You can do it when you're traveling on an airplane. You don't need anything but yourself and your heart and your commitment. So be gentle with your sweet self. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for doing the work. If you're genuinely considering a meditation practice for yourself, I thank you for making a contribution to the field with your loving, with your peace, with your calm, with your own tender self-love and self-care and self-respect. So I'm going to close our space as I always do. We tune into our hearts. We attune deeply to that place of peace and essence that lives within each one of us, the place that connects the fabric of our beingness, reminding us that our interdimensionality is one. We are now closing all energetic lines of communication between any of us, closing all open portals, gateways, channels, agreements, and lines of communication between any of us and the spirit world. We are grateful and we say thank you. I'm closing the show today with love, in love, for love, by love, as love. This is Spiritual Ambition. I'm Donna Bond. Thank you so much for being here. Happy meditating. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jennifer.